I got another Tip Tuesday video for you guys today, and this is going to be an interesting one because it really depends on the kinds of cards that you have and the ones that you play with at your local casino. All right, but first off, if you're new, welcome to this channel. This is A1 Blackjack, channel where we teach you how to count cards fast. So if that sounds good to you, stick around because this is a tip that I think you'll want to know as far as estimating how many decks are left in discard tray, but also really depending on the type of card that you use, maybe the ones that you practice with, or the ones that, like I said earlier, are at your local casino. Okay, believe it or not, these two on the outside, these are both called Gemco playing cards, and they should be the exact same size. All right, these are both 6 decks, but when I put them together here, you'll see that there is quite a bit of overlap on the top, almost, I would say, a little bit more than a quarter of a deck. This is higher than this one. The reason why, because is if I take these ones out, these are kind of brand new cards or ones that I use for my videos. These ones, you can see they're canceled, right? They have holes in them. And when I was first starting to make my YouTube videos, people would always get mad at me because I would use these canceled cards, and they weren't really a big fan of that, right? They didn't like the holes in there. And after thinking about it, I got to thinking that, you know, when I go to the casino and I measure the penetration in the discard tray, I should probably have these all be absolutely flat, right? Because if there's a little bit of a dent or something in them, or a hole, or the corners clipped off, that creates, you can feel right where that happens, right? You can feel a little bit of a raise right there, and that causes those cards to be just slightly thicker. And after 6 decks, that really adds up over time. Okay, let me put these back in order really quick. All right, I got those back in order. Now, like you saw there, one thing about new cards is they're a little bit more slippery. And so I do have these in a very specific order, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But I also want to show you these 6 decks compared to kind of the most common playing cards for, especially ones maybe at your house bicycle. You can see that these are also quite a bit shorter than the bicycle. They're maybe not quite a quarter deck higher after those 6 decks, but it does make a difference over time, especially if you're playing with like 8 deck, then you'd really be off a little bit by then. So how can we fix that? So what we want to do today is, first off, maybe you can identify what type of card your casino plays with, and go to their gift shop. Maybe you can get some canceled ones, but if you don't want the raise in those, I'm going to show you at the end of this video how you can get maybe some like this. The ones I've seen the most are these Gemco cards in casino. The way you can tell, by the way, which card they are is if you look at the Ace of Spades, it'll usually say what type of playing card it is. And in this case, this is a Hollywood Casinos card, and we know that they, of course, use Gemco playing cards. All right, if I look at the Ace of Spades on a bicycle deck, you can see it clearly says that this is a bicycle deck of cards, right? But if you know what type your casino has, then you can use those. And then what we're going to do today is, if you have a discard tray, or if you want to maybe purchase one, have a little bit of a discount code at Casino Supply, 10% off if you use code A1BJ, but I'll link that at the end of this video. Anyway, if we put this into a discard tray, or maybe a right angle, if you have something like that that can stack those up, then what I want to do is take just a piece of paper. I just kind of folded up a piece of paper, put some tape on this, and we're going to use this as kind of a discard tray ruler. Right, so you can tell exactly how many decks are left to be played. Now, my particular one, this, I don't really have room on the sides here to stay on the ledge like that at the bottom. And so I'm going to have to go a little bit below, and we're going to mark that up. And we're also going to mark every single deck as we go. So, as I mentioned a little bit earlier in this video, each of these cards I have already marked on there not only the position of those cards, but which deck they're in. All right, so as I go through this, I can see right here, this ends my 5th deck, and this would start my 6th deck. All right, starting with 261-6 for the 6th deck, all the way up to the last card should be 312, because that is 52 times 6. So if I were you, I think it's beneficial to have that just have one 6-deck shoe dedicated to the order so that you can train your eye to better figure out the deck estimation, as of course we know we need to use that for our true count conversions, right? But what I'm going to do now is take off all but one deck here, and I should have this, like I said, kind of listed out. Should be right about here. Yep, I'm going to put these other ones off to the side, hopefully not messing up the order. Those again, they are a little bit slippery. And with this, I'm going to take my new discard tray ruler, and first off, I'm going to put a little arrow so I always know which way is up when I use this. Okay, and then second is on the side here, I'm going to draw a line. I don't know if I can do it facing the camera here. I might have to show you guys here in a second, but I'm going to draw a line right where those cards hit on my ruler. Nice. Okay, so you can see right like that, and I might just use another card, or maybe I'll use a cut card to make that a straighter line. And then above that, I'm just going to put a small 1, all right, because I know that's going to be one deck, just like this. Now, I'm going to repeat this for the next 5 decks until I have all 6 listed out, and so I have a mark at each of those 6 spots. All right, so I'm going to try that, and I'll be right back with you here in a second. All right, I think I got that done. I also want to show you a couple other things that I added. I'll kind of zoom in on this for you. So since my discard tray doesn't have an exact bottom like this, it doesn't sit flush where the cards start, it goes a little bit below that. I added these kind of dashed lines just to kind of indicate that's not cards, that's the tray. All right, I also put a line for the 0 because there is none there. And then in between each of these whole numbers, like in between 1 and 2, you can see there's a dashed line and then some dotted lines. The dashed line indicates halfway. Right, that's going to be important for games like double deck or single deck where you really need to know your halves. And also the dotted lines, I like to personally, when I guess or when I try to see how accurate I am, I count it if it is between a quarter deck of what I guessed. So for example, let's just try it. I'm going to peel off some of this here, and we'll see if we are correct or not. And if I look at this, if I'm looking at the discard tray, I would say that is, let's go 2 1/4 decks in there. And so if I take my new ruler that I made, I put it on here. Let's see, I need to turn it so I can see it too. Oh, I was off a little bit. I said 2 1/4, and it's actually at 2 1/2. So I was within a quarter deck, but I need to be a little bit more accurate with that count. Okay, so you can use your ruler for that. Now I will say one thing, and that is if you need a discard tray to do this, right now Casino Supply, if you use my code A1BJ, you can, I think they're $7.25, but you can get 10% off of that. And so that takes a little more than 70 cents off. You can get it for under $7, a nice 6-deck discard tray like this. They also have shoes for under $20. All the cards that I got are from them. Okay, all my chips, the felt that you see here, anything on their website is 10% off if you use my code A1BJ. That's also a great way to support me, as I also get 10% of that. So I'd appreciate if you use that code, and it's going to be a great way to practice on your own as well. So that's my tip for you on this Tip Tuesday. Until next Tuesday, this is A1 Blackjack.